Ladies and gentlemen, on Tuesday, January 6th at 7 p.m., I gave the site, call this meeting to order. This time, can we get a roll call, please?
Counselor Funderburk,
Excused?
Counselor Duffloff,
Here.
Counselor Katie McMillan,
Here.
Counselor Smith,
Here.
Counselor Dennis McMillan,
Here.
Counselor McLean,
Here.
Mayor Syed.
Here. Please rise for pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Staff, is there any addendums to the agenda as it currently stands?
No.
Staff? Council, if there's any further questions on the agenda?
Mr. Mayor, I was curious, I was kind of curious what the other councilors think, that, item, or the discussion item 11.1, should that be, or can that be moved just before 9.6? Do you think that's anyone else have any thoughts on that?
Well, it's a discussion item where everything else that you can vote about.
Sure, I just thought it was relevant to 9.6.
I agree.
I didn't know what everyone else thought.
Well, my personal opinion is maybe we have a discussion about that, which I think we're gonna have a discussion anyways about
Okay,
that stuff anyways.
just let it roll in.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, sounds fair enough.
Me personally, what's you guys' opinion?
I think that it's valid to, move it up there just because it won't be a full discussion at that point, but we can kind of talk about why it's being moved up there, I guess.
Well,
I guess the discussion will happen, like you said, it'll just all kind of flow together, and then we'll get to 11.1 if we need to keep going and keep going.
I mean, I'm sure that the discussion we could roll into 11.1, we can, because it's all organic, it's all gonna be about the same thing.
Okay. Just keep her way to that. All
I
right.
mean, instead of moving the agenda item.
Yeah, let's keep it.
Mr. McLean, anything you'd like to add to the discussion?
I was just listening to the discussion, and I think based on the discussion here, it sounds like we, are just ready for a motion.
I'm just making sure we're all on the same page. Are we, any further discussions on moving the agenda item?
No.
Okay. Yes, this time we're looking for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion, we approve the agenda as presented.
Thank you for the motion, please. Just
Second.
motion. Thank you very much. First and second, can we have a roll call, please?
Counselor Duffloff,
Aye.
Counselor Katie McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor Smith,
Aye.
Counselor Dennis McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor McLean.
Aye. Thank you very much, guys. Have it moving forward now to the city manager report. We have number 5.1, general announcements, Mr. Stockdale.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and start. Can you hear me out there with this microphone working very well? Not really.
She's green.
Says it's
There
green.
we go.
It's really nice to me, that's better. All right, we'll start with, Parks has a few announcements of upcoming activities, as Merle will do that, and then when she's done, we'll have community development, Zach right after.
Yeah, we have started our flag football registrations are live now on our website. And per usual, we're looking for volunteer coaches. So if you're interested in coaching, flag football, we'll gladly take any volunteers. And also we still have our bingo series going through March for both adults and kids. Registration is online. That is all I have right now.
See if this one's working. Okay, fantastic. Mr. Mayor and members of council, if you recall, on April 1st, there was a discussion with City of Hermiston on regional broadband access and capabilities before my time at the city, but I reviewed the meeting. We've been meeting with Hermiston and our consultants about this program in the subsequent months leading up to this. And I just wanted to update that on January 13th. So next week, we will be releasing a community survey to identify areas of highest need in Umatilla for broadband access, any issues, pitfalls, where and how they access, what they use internet access for in order to assess this program as well. So just keep an eye out on social media and direct emails that come out. This community survey will be going for about 5 weeks into February. After which we will, update city council on some of the results and, next steps with the program. So that was my update from community development.
Thank you, Zach.
No other announcements?
Thank you, Mr. Stockdale. Moving on now to 5.2, paid invoices. Any questions from council this time on paid invoices?
No.
Moving on now for the very exciting news, the new demonstration of our new website.
Gonna let Nancy take the lead on that. Try not to break your stuff.
Okay. This has been about a 3-month project for me, is getting our website updated, along with Melissa and Jasenia and Kylie. So as you can see, we have a new interface for our website. The goal was to make this a lot more user-friendly. The one thing that we consistently heard from council was the calendar. So that's the one thing that we're going to feature right away. We have the main calendar that has every city event, whether it's Parks and Rec, whether it's community development or police station. This will be the landing page for the main calendar. Then we have any public meetings that are scheduled. So as you can see here, we have city council on January 6th and January 20th, followed by PATH and commission. And then the events, this is the events calendar. Parks and Rec, as you can see, has something going on every single day here. And if we click on this view full calendar, it'll further take you down to the drill down of each event. So as you can see today, we're having a meeting, and you can click on the more details options of this, and it'll give you all the information that is pertinent to that meeting. Okay, we'll go back to the main landing page. The other thing that we heard from council was we wanted to make sure that we had big icons for people. So if you go down to the Your City, Your Services, you can see here where we have public library, the marina, any newsletters, public records requests, city projects. We decided to split up planning and building division because they are two very prevalent subdivisions of the community development. This is still up to change. So if you see something that is broken or needs to be updated, please let us know. And then as we continue to scroll down, all of our social medias are also on there. One of the things that was very nice, or I guess a great upgrade, is being able to do the public records request on site, which we had that ability before, but it wasn't as easy or as user-friendly as it used to, as it could have been. So this is the improvement to that, where you can submit your public record and decide how you want to receive that, and then go ahead and submit it, and the appropriate staff would receive that. Again, we have big stuff kind of following through with what we had previously. We could go about the history, any cemetery stuff, all the library things that we have, public safety. We did add the fire because it's part of public safety in our town. And then any rec opportunities, any business related stuff. So if you want to open a business, you'll be able to go there and get the applications and anything that's relevant to that. Same with government. We try to break this down by departments and or subdivisions of departments. You'll be able to see all that stuff here. All our goals are here, any old and new agendas, all of that's located here. And then the how do I apply for, how do I contact, how do I find documents? All of the how do I's have been transferred, and hopefully it makes it easier for people to navigate our website. The other thing that we really focused on was indexing our files. So our previous website, for whatever reason, if you tried to do research, was really difficult to try to find information. The goal with this one was that everything's being indexed, and we have the option to insert keywords that will bring stuff up for you. So I think that's all we have. Dave, is there anything else you want to add to that? No. Okay.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Rob.
Yeah, it's really good. Thank you.
I guess I'll add just one last thing. Today's day 2 of it live. There are going to be bugs. There are going to be things that we miss. There's going to be a wrong phone number or a link that gives you a 404 error code or something. So if you come across that, if you could either at least a mental note or some other sort of jot or something to just informally is fine for now. If it turns out all of a sudden like, well, we're getting a lot of informals, then we'll sort of go back to the drawing board. But we don't anticipate that in any way, shape, or form. But please let us know. Anybody here, if you see anybody, if it feels clunky or non-intuitive, or you have a suggestion for us, let us know. We can sort of same information's all there, maybe put it into another spot that might make sense. We can certainly have the same link in 2 spots. That might make sense in both spots, right? So it's okay. So any feedback, we're very happy to welcome it.
And Jess will be releasing information on our social media platforms tomorrow to let people know that if they find any bugs or anything needs attention, I'll be the contact person to get that updated as quickly as possible.
Great, thank you for your hard work and maybe all you work on this, we appreciate it. Thank you. Any further questions from council this time? No. Okay, moving on now to public comment.
Do we have anyone? Sure. Three. Okay. On it.
First this evening, we have Susan Taylor. As a reminder, the public comment section allows city members to share their opinions, raise concerns, and provide information directly to city council. Comments should be address city-related issues and must not pertain to items scheduled for a public hearing on the same evening's agenda. If you wish to speak, please complete the sign-up form, including the topic you wish to address. Please begin by stating your name and address when called. The podium speakers are allotted 5 minutes unless otherwise directed. Please note, comments criticizing city programs and operations are permitted during the segment. However, criticisms of individual city employees is not allowed during the public comment period. Concerns regarding city employees should be submitted in writing to the city's human resource manager for proper review. Thank you for your cooperation. Ms. Taylor, thank you.
Susan Taylor, 924 Barton. Can you hear me? Okay. My comment is, when I left this meeting, our last meeting, I was very upset. I was upset with the kind of the bickering and I feel like the council is turning into more of a bickering type of situation, and that it's more opinions that are being put out there, and that I don't feel that us as citizens are being looked after in certain things. And some of the problems were, if you're going to apply for a public seat or whatever, you need to understand that your background is going to get checked. And if you don't expect that, then you are at fault. And so it's like any public thing that you're going to apply for, you're out there in the public. People have the right to look into your background, whether you want them to or not. And so I was just kind of disappointed, and I just felt I needed to air that you as council members you are supposed to be representing us as citizens, and not what you feel your opinion on something. And I just needed to say that. I appreciate you guys, but it's just kind of frustrating sometimes, because when we're sitting out here, we can't say anything other than in public comment. And so I appreciate listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Teresa White Snyder.
Teresa White Snyder, 176 Rio Center Street. It's encouraging to see the council focusing on transparency and processes for appointments and updates to our city website. I truly appreciate the time you volunteer to lead Umatilla. Like you, my neighbors and I care deeply about our city and want to see it thrive. To that end, I'd like to share a few areas where I believe more clear public processes would benefit everyone. Creating a public complaint procedure. Our neighborhood group requested a formal public complaint procedure last May. Currently, unless an issue is related to code enforcement or police, there is no clear way to file a concern or receive a status update. Having a streamlined process would ensure citizens feel heard and help staff track issues more efficiently. Instead, when we filed our complaints and requested a neutral investigator to look into our concerns, there was no investigation, and we received no follow-up until we reached out and found our concerns were fully dismissed without any type of third-party review. Tracking old business and citizen concerns.
I'd love to see a more consistent way to track follow-up items on your meeting agendas. Several important topics, including future data center planning, downtown safety, and water quality, have been raised, but the public is often left wondering about the next steps. A formal quote, old business, unquote, or quote, action item, unquote, tracker would keep us all informed on the progress being made. This has been brought up at numerous meetings, but there's still no old business or consistent public follow-up. Strengthening public trust. To ensure our community remains confident in city leadership, I hope to see more public discussion regarding one, accountability. Following recent ethics findings against counselors and staff, a public conversation on future prevention would go a long way in building trust. I haven't seen any discussion about that, nor any discussion on what procedures and processes you'll change to prevent future concerns. Open deliberation. Whenever possible, please bring discussions regarding city projects like the profitability of quote unquote blocks into public meetings. This ensures all counselors have the same context and the public stays informed. There are numerous comments from counselors about conversations you have directly with staff. But if you're meeting with staff as individuals and making those decisions behind closed doors, it feels like the reason you pass so many things without discussion is because you've already decided them in the background. That's not okay. And it might not be happening, but it sure feels that way when there's so little discussion around huge decisions and comments about private conversations that are made. I'm not here to argue or seem like a critic. I'm here because I love this city. I know you do, and I know my neighbors do as well. We thank you for your hard work and appreciate you listening to the suggestions. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Josiah Barron.
Josiah Barron, Umatilla Chamber of Commerce. Let's see if I can get this high enough. I always feel like I'm crouching down. Well, Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Just a few announcements. What a better way to start off the year than with some giveaways, right? And premium trailers serving Hermiston, Umatilla, surrounding areas. They have one of our members, they have a giveaway for a Yeti Tundra 45 cooler. So one of the big kind. If you go onto their Instagram or Facebook, they've got the post on there for the giveaway. It's really simple. You just like their page, like the post, like their Instagram page at Premium Trailers LLC, and then share onto your story and share the post. You can see the details, like I said, Instagram or Facebook, Premium Trailers LLC. And Titan Concrete, one of our other members, is offering a 15% off for new members, for anybody that's doing projects, driveways, patios, any cement work that you need to get done. And that promotion will be all through January to February. And you can find Titan Concrete on Facebook and all their contact details. Well, of course, on our business directory at umatillorchamber.org or on Facebook at Titan Concrete LLC. Then I just wanted to add in a reminder for other upcoming local meetings that the Umatilla Rural Fire Board is meeting this Wednesday on January 7th at 7 p.m. at the Family Health Associates building in the boardroom in there. And you can also find the meeting agenda and the virtual attendance link option at umatillafire.org if you want to look for those things too. Then on training side of Blue Mountain Small Business Development Center is offering a business Excel for business workshop. It will be, this one is an online option. So if you go to Facebook and look up a Blue Mountain Community College Small Business Development Center, you can find the details on there. It will be Thursday, January 15th at 10 a.m. This is a completely free workshop for small businesses, entrepreneurs, or just somebody that wants to learn more about increasing their financial sustaining for 2026. And then the last couple things here, just a reminder, don't forget to go to the first Way Back Wednesday at the Bridge Bistro and Brews for some music with Zach and Paulette there at 6 p.m. tomorrow as usual. And then the chamber is not specifically involved in this ribbon cutting, but Java Junkie started right here in Umatilla, so I wanted to give you a reminder. Stanfield Java Junkies is moving into their new location, and they have their ribbon cutting and official grand opening tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. If you're able to go over there, it's at 255 North Main Street in Stanfield, and they'll be giving out $5 off lunch coupons for the grand opening. Great way to support a business that started right here in Umatilla. And I have all this for you, Nancy, too.
Thank you, Josiah.
Thank you very much, council.
Thank you, Josiah.
Now moving on now to the consent agenda. Is there any questions for December 2nd minutes?
I had made a comment to staff about what I thought was an error in the calendar.
Okay. For the calendar for
I'm sorry.
9.3 or in December 2nd?
I'm sorry, I am out of.
Okay, I'm just like, what? All right, no other questions on the consent agenda as it currently stands?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Looking for motion?
I think that's way better. Thank you. Is that way better? That's way better. Okay, I appreciate it.
That's more good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm trying to like, try and walk the fine line of whispering and yelling at the same time.
I blame planning commission, no worries.
Okay, moving on now, the consent agenda, we are looking for a motion.
I would make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Can you give a motion, be a second motion, please?
I'll second that.
We get a roll call.
Counselor Dufflock,
Aye.
Counselor Katie McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor Smith,
Aye.
Counselor Dennis McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor McLean.
Aye.
Motion carried. Moving on now to our new business item, 9.1, election of the council president. Is there any questions on that one? Anyone who'd like to nominate the council president or anyone who'd like to campaign to be the council? I'll jump out for one.
Mr. Mayor, I move to elect Daren Duflock, to serve as council president yet again.
I would second that.
Motion been first and seconded. We get a roll call, please.
Counselor Dufflock,
Aye.
Counselor Katie McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor Smith,
Aye.
Counselor Dennis McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor McLean.
Aye.
Motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. DeFlock, for being the council president again. You get to change my vote. I can change your vote. Make sure it shows. Moving on to 9.2, the council standing committee appointments. Seem pretty straightforward. If there's any questions on those, now's a chance. No gripes? Okay. No action required on that. Moving on to the council calendar, 9.3. Any questions on that? Mr.
Yeah, now.
Mr. McLean, you have a comment?
I had caught a small error in the calendar, but the city's aware of it.
And it has been fixed in the published agenda packet.
Based on public agenda packet. Okay. No other further questions?
I had just, excuse me, one more item for your general discussion. So in your adopted goals, you have objective 4.4, which says to at least once a year incorporate it would be a public meeting, but a town hall style meeting where we have opportunity to have feedback, back and forth dialogue and that sort of thing. So we'd like to, if you think it's appropriate now, I think it is, but to add that here, it can be something that occurs on the same night, different day, different time. There is no set day or time for that, but wanted to bring that to your attention that you do have that as an adopted goal this year, and hopefully we can incorporate that.
The goal says once, can we do more than one?
Yeah, it's just at least one, and yeah, you can do two, three, four, as many as you'd like, and of course, you can add those as we move throughout the year, especially if a specific topic or item or something like that, yields itself to a further discussion and engagement with the community, we certainly can do that, but since it asks for at least one, I'd like to have at least the one sort of cemented in here, if you think that's appropriate.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I'd like,
For
should we
sure.
do it on that day we have a council meeting, too, just do it,
Well,
or
I
you think
think
it's
it
every
would
day?
be good to have a day, just have a specific day for that. I mean,
Okay.
personally.
Yeah, I've never had one, so I don't know how long they are.
Yeah,
I think it'd be kind of cool to do it, sorry. Do you guys want to-
I'm with you.
I think it'd be kind of cool to do it as like a thermometer in July. Kind of see where we're at throughout the year.
Yeah.
Okay, where are we at? Let's do it like, maybe the third.
Yep.
So we do the first Tuesday, and then the third Tuesday would be the second Tuesday would be the town hall. Then the third Tuesday, we
Yeah.
can kind of do that and just say the second Tuesday of July.
Second Tuesday of July,
So that's July 14th.
July 14th. And I think if we get it on the calendar early, that will, maybe spark interest and get people here.
Yeah.
Give the people what they want.
Well, I just think it just opens dialogue. I think it's a good thing. Because a lot of times we get, again, restricted up here, how much we can converse back and forth. Yeah.
Well, and as you said, you can always add more than the one, this gets us to, so we at least meet that goal, and, we can always go from there. That's great.
Also wanted to highlight, guys, we have, for budget meetings, they're a little bit different this year. We heard the feedback last year, so we bumped those meetings earlier to 6 p.m. to give us an earlier start time. We still were running pretty tight, even if we would have started early, so I did hold a Tuesday and Wednesday night, back to back. If for some reason we were to get through in one night, we would be able to cancel the second one. And then usually we meet in March and April. But because we have Urban Renewal Agency in April, we're gonna do budget in March and May, so it's gonna be a little bit deviated from our normal process.
I have a question. Yeah. Speaking on that topic, is there a way that we could do, because I know sometimes we get revolving budget members in and out, is there a way we can do a short synopsis? Because I found a lot of times during the meeting, we were actually trying to give the semantics of how the system works and the answers of the questions of the body of things, instead of getting down to the meat and potatoes of we're spending money on this, this, and this. And so if we could figure out a way to get some kind of a meeting prior to that, we could say, answer those questions out of the way. This is how we do it. This is why we do it, so forth, so on. Because I felt like we were answering more of those and it's taking more time.
Are you thinking a meeting for everybody or more of like an orientation for new members?
Orientation for new members.
Yeah, we'll meet with them.
Thank you.
So, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Because you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It seemed like we were trying to catch the wheel up.
Totally.
And it just took a lot of time.
So do you want to do that a week? Let's make that into a motion somehow to add that to the calendar, so there's actually some firm directed to staff, just to make sure we're all on the same page. You want to do it a week
Is
ahead
that
of
too
time?
cumbersome?
So we normally, for all of our committees, do an orientation. We don't typically have them on the calendar. We just do it through the day based on staff and committee
Okay.
availability.
Yeah, okay.
As long as we can
But
get their questions answered and so forth, that way we're not.
Can I attempt to rephrase what I think I heard you say?
Okay, sure.
Okay, would something like an FAQ regarding budget committee specifically be helpful? Here's which we have a lot of that in our orientation packet, but essentially, here's what the ORS says, here's why we're here, why we're made up the way we're made up. Here's what a revenue fund looks like, here's what an enterprise fund, here's what a special revenue fund, an enterprise fund, and so on. What those are, what they mean, and what they are in the terms of City of Umatilla, sort of break it down that way, the structure and the skeleton, the technicality of the budget process, I suppose, and put that together we have most of that in the orientation.
We sort of already do. We give out League of Oregon Cities guidance. We give past budget documents.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is just to have something available so people can have a conversation and kind of go over and answer questions prior to us getting in a 7-hour meeting. That just kind of clogs up. Not that I might have a 7-hour meeting, but some of it just is redundant to go over stuff that's should have already been hashed out.
Well, if this isn't gonna be on the calendar, do you want to make this a discussion item for the
Yeah.
next meeting and just be like, hey, let's talk about what.
I mean,
are the-
we kind of show you what we have as our orientation packet now, and if there's something in there that you felt was a question that you would like us to sort of add as an FAQ, or if you feel that there's something that would be helpful, if you could think back to, some of you were on budget committee prior to being on the council, or use your budget committee members now, but what were some of the things that you wish you would have learned sort of coming in? We can get those things added. We can take just a look at. I mean, as a matter of that, too, we are still advertising and taking applications for budget committee members.
Yeah.
A shameless plug, but so we'll try to move that forward too. Yeah.
That would be a great review. You know, at the same time, an FAQ would not be a bad reminder
No.
for current members of budget committee to, you know, for just a reminder with the, you know, the guidelines and the rules regarding, you know, it's like, hey, money in the general fund is not money in other funds, and the rules and restrictions about money isn't just money. You know, it's got to stay in certain buckets.
Yeah.
So that'll be a discussion item for a future meeting.
If you want to just bring it up and just.
For a month from now, first meeting in February, we
Okay.
can bring that as a
Thank you.
discussion item.
Perfect. Okay, so any questions currently right now on the calendar, any gripes, any concerns?
The town hall, can we set it first, to use it, just because we don't know when it's gonna be, that way it won't put us too late in the day.
I don't work that Tuesday.
6 to 1:30.
So it's 6 p.m. adding a town hall in July on the 14th. Okay, this time, looking for a motion, there's no current, further questions.
I move that we accept the calendar as published with the addition of town hall meeting and 6 o'clock with the town hall
In July.
in July,
Keep the date.
14th of July, I believe is.
Thank you, Mr. Smith, for your motion. Can you get a second motion, please?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you. Can we get a roll call?
Counselor Dufflaw,
Aye.
Counselor Katie McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor Smith,
Aye.
Counselor Dennis McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor McLean.
Aye.
Next, we have action item 9.4, local business grant application. For this one, I'm going to declare a potential conflict of interest. My parents own a building that Los Ilbellas is renting out to their landlord, so I just want to make sure that's declared.
Which one? There we go.
Good afternoon, council members. So I'm here to present, as mentioned, the 3 applicants for this order for our grant program. So the first one is gonna be Las Isabeles Santuitos LLC. It's a new restaurant in town. It's a Mexican style restaurant. They are putting in, requesting that we help them with commercial equipment and including commercial kitchen hood. The total project cost is estimated to be $71,462.90. The second applicant is HTM Group LLC. They're doing an addition to their building. It's gonna be a 2,400 square foot addition. Their project cost is estimated to be $159,788. Those are the 2 for our local business grant program. I also have another one. This one is for our downtown revitalization grant program, which is Old Nicks. They're requesting assistance for a new sign. We have reviewed their applications. We do have a new scoring criteria. We are the CDD department. Go ahead.
Can I stop you right there real quick?
Yep.
We actually have 2 action items, so we can talk about Old Nicks next, if that's okay, unless you want to do it now.
Correct.
Okay.
No, we'll do it next, so just stick to the local business.
Okay.
Do the first 2.
Perfect. I'm sorry about that.
No, you're totally
Okay.
good, yeah.
So, based on their application and their scoring criteria for the local business grant application, the CDD department, we would like to award $25,000 to Las Isabeles and $22,500 to HTM Group LLC. Do you guys have any questions for me for that item?
No questions from council this time?
No, no question.
We're looking for a motion.
Yes, I would like to get a motion.
The only question I have is how did we get 2250 for one and 25 for the other?
Okay, so, 18.
No, you know.
She's got the answer.
Okay. So HTM Group LLC, they are getting the 22,005 because this is their second time applying. So, in the past, we've awarded 27,500, so they can only get up to $50,000. And then Las Isabeles, it's a new application, so they get the full award of $25,000.
That's awesome.
I'm just here for the show. I look nice and you all get a credit. I mean, these guys got everything running great.
Okay, this time there's no further questions from council. Okay, looking for motion.
Mr. Mayor, I would make a motion to accept the local business grant application for HTM Group LLC for $22,500 and what's the proper name?
Las
Las Isabeles grant for $25,000.
Thank you for your motion. Can you have a second motion, please?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Motion's in first and second. Can we get a roll call?
Counselor Duffloff,
Aye.
Counselor Katie McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor Smith,
Aye.
Counselor Dennis McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor McLean.
Aye.
Yeah, that motion carries. Now moving on to 9.5.
Thank you, and I'm sorry about that.
You're good.
Okay, so the second one is gonna be our, like I was saying, the downtown revitalization grant for Olnix. They are wanting to, they're applying to get a new sign on their building. So, we did review the application, like we did the other ones. Although they, were able to get a good score on their business type and, application history, they did not meet the requirements for, project impact, financial leverage, and project readiness. I am working with the applicant and I'm gonna have them reapply and we're gonna reevaluate their application. And then we'll, help them and bring it to council again. So, I'm gonna need a motion not to approve this, the application of this.
Any questions from council?
No.
Mr. McLean?
Yeah, you pretty much answered where I was going to go with this
Okay.
one, which was, you know, it seems like we have a track record of Old Nick's having some trouble getting paperwork filled out correctly and correctly understanding how to get things done. I believe really strongly in all of these programs and, you know, finding ways to invest in how the city looks, benefits all of us. And you answered my question as far as whether we're just, you know, turning a blind eye to this or whether we're proactively going and helping people to take advantage of these. And you've already answered it, but I did want to state that.
The affirmative to not fund. So I'll try to get them to do that.
Mr. Smith?
Ready for a motion?
Yes.
I move that we table this to future date and I make a motion, we approve the agenda item as presented. A second.
Does that suffice, Ms. Allen?
Mhm.
Yes, or is that need to be?
Correct.
Okay.
I just,
I'm with you. I'm with you.
before you vote, council, just to be clear, so a vote in the affirmative is to not fund the grant, just to be clear.
So in the affirmative, is to not.
Which is what the motion was. The motion was to approve as presented, which is the affirmative to not fund. Thank you.
Okay, motion in first and second, and looking for a roll call.
Counselor Duffloff,
Oh, yes, yeah.
his motion was to approve.
No,
It was as presented,
It's
so since
backwards.
it's presented as do not.
Okay. So your motion,
It's presented to not.
got it. Okay, thank you. All right. Counselor Duffloff,
As approved
as presented, which means yes.
presented, not-
You're saying yes to the no.
yes to the. Exactly. Would have been easier said no.
I agree. Counselor Katie McMillan,
Yes to the no.
Counselor Smith,
Yes.
Counselor Dennis
Hold on,
McMillan.
Real quick, we got, yes, we need to make sure.
We need ayes or nays. Sorry, I was gonna get a point of clarification. Thank you. We need ayes or nays. Thank you.
Counselor Dennis McMillan.
Aye.
Counselor McLean.
Aye.
For the record, can we have Daren
Yes,
and Katie please repeat their votes, just so it's clear.
for the record, I'm an aye to not approve.
Counselor Katie McMillan.
So for the record, I'm an aye.
Thank you. Okay, I want to make sure we're good. Nancy, is that good? Can we dot our i's? Okay, thank you. We crossed our i's. Okay, moving on now to the planning commission appointments. Any questions from council on this one?
I kind of wanted to have a question. Can we start having interviews of some of these candidates so we can get a better idea of who they are? 'Cause the planning commission is a pretty important, it's really actually a very important position. And I would just like to know who some of these people are, at least a little bit, just be able to ask them some questions and talk to them a bit. So is there any way we can do that?
Yeah, I mean, we were gonna talk about it in 11.1.
That's what I was saying earlier.
Yeah, that's-
Yeah, I know, yeah, oh, yeah, trust me, I know. I know.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I would really like us to work on a process. Because somebody had said earlier about having background checks. We don't do background checks. We don't do anything. We look at a 3-letter or a 3-line application on somebody. We don't get all the information. And some people you do, some people you don't. To me, that's really wrong.
Mhm.
You know, if you're gonna Google one, you Google all.
Yeah.
So,
There's probably a time Umatilla was small enough, you're like, oh, I know,
Exactly.
Henry, he's a good guy, but.
exactly. And honestly, I want everybody to think about perspective of that as we move forward 10, 15 years when most of us are not here in these seats, a lot of things are gonna change.
Yeah.
So let's kind of set the right foot forward in the fact that if we're talking about equality and we're looking at everybody, let's look at them all equally as opposed to, well, I like him or I like her, or they work for the school district or they don't. That's inappropriate. So in my idea is that we apply the same characteristics for everything.
And I like the transparency of it and
If
everything.
you're talking about transparency, then let's be transparent.
Let's be transparent.
100%. No, I agree.
And I think transparency is important, and I think that's definitely, I think, what we need to be moving towards.
You bet.
And I think that, transparency is also important, though, how we're going to be doing that process as a council, but also ensuring that we still, make sure that we're transparent about how we're going to be doing other parts of city procedures.
Well, we're talking about this right now, sir.
I'm just sure, I just want to make sure that we're continuing our transparency conversation.
100%. I completely agree.
Currently, right now, we're looking for a motion. Is there any further question or any dialogue on action item 9.6, planning commission appointments?
So can I make a motion that we, table this until we can set up a way to interview people? Is that a possibility?
Of course it is.
Okay, so I make a motion, we table this until we can get an interview type set up.
So, well, if we have a discussion and we don't make an action item about it and not have an interview process, then are we stuck to tabling it until, like, what do we do? Then would that motion trap our hands to only bring back up again with an interview process, but if we never agree on an interview process, then we stop?
So there's two things. You certainly can make a motion to table. That's something that you can do on any item, not just this one, any item ever, that's always allowed. But your point is correct, Mayor. So if the fallacy of the motion is, there's perhaps an assumption that there's going to be a change of procedure or action, and you don't know that yet.
Okay.
And so I'm with Mayor. I would recommend that you don't necessarily make the motion to do that. That might maybe break that up. Do one motion to table now, and then later on, you might be able to make that motion later in the meeting or at another time.
Okay, well, I would make a motion to table this agenda item 9.6 at this time. And then,
And then revisit it after we have our discussion.
yeah, and revisit it after we've had our discussion. perhaps.
Can we get a
Date?
yeah, you can either come back in 2 weeks or a month.
Well, but also, if you guys want to interviews, then you gotta wait till we have scheduled interviews, so
Well,
if you
yeah.
want to go 3 months.
We're just talking about the process now.
Yeah, but.
Well, that's why 11.1 was kind of you know,
But if we're not gonna have interviews, we're not gonna do 9.6, since we do interviews.
Well, if you're gonna do interview, it could depend. You could do interviews here, which is what I would recommend. Those are usually meetings in open session.
yeah.
But you could form a subcommittee and do interviews that way and make a presentation. I mean, there's several ways in which you can go about doing it. And so, for the tabling, you know, for us, for staff, it's, if you want to give yourself a buffer while you can work through that process, determine what your process might be updated to be. Maybe a month from now would be good. 2 weeks seems maybe kind of quick. And there's another planning commission meeting between now and then. But we haven't had an issue with quorum, so we're lucky that way. But just to be aware that there is another planning commission meeting between now and then.
Do you think tabling it for a month would be sufficient, as you're saying?
Yeah, Lyle.
Oh, okay.
I really think that we should proceed with voting on this one person to get the planning commission full. Because it may take 2 to 3, even 4 months to finally get something passed, and then get an interview set up for another meeting. In that we've not had this process in the past, we seem to have lived through it. It would be my thought to either approve or not approve this one candidate one more time, and then go towards setting up this interview process, which I think has been needed for 15 years at least. In fact, when Boyd Sharp was chairing the planning commission. So that's my thought.
Any further discussion?
If I could, for point of clarification, at the moment, you have a motion on the table. You don't have a second, but if you'd like, you can amend your motion, because the motion at the moment has to table and to do interviews. So if you still want to keep that, you can, or you could amend it if you want to change it, and then we can go from there.
Okay.
So would you like to amend your motion or redact?
Well, I guess that.
The motion hasn't been seconded.
I know, but
So
you
it doesn't, you can't
I'll make
amend it.
a decision, but I mean,
can't amend that.
well, okay, how about this? I'll
No.
retract that current
You can
motion,
retract.
Okay.
and then we'll go from there.
Okay,
So I retract my previous motion.
Motion dies, we're moving on to, looking for another motion at this time.
For the month?
Mr. Smith.
All right.
Like you said, I move that we appoint Amanda Rosenburg to the Umatilla Planning Commission.
Thank you for your motion, I'm looking for a second motion. Motion dies. Looking for another motion.
Well, I motion that we, table this for a month. And, we'll see if we can, and after that, then we'll they figure out the system.
Thank you for your motion, sir. Can we get a second to the motion, please?
I'll second that.
Can we get a roll call?
Before we proceed with the roll call, for a month, meaning the first meeting in
First
February.
meeting in February, yeah, okay, so.
Thank you. Counselor Duffloff,
Aye.
Counselor Katie McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor Smith,
Nay.
Counselor Dennis McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor McLean.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Moving on now to action item 9.7, resolution number 2026. Dave, or is this
Melissa.
Melissa?
So we talked about this one at your December 1st meeting. There were 2 easements that were needed as a part of the Power City Utility Improvement Project to be obtained from Amazon. When we came to your last meeting, we did not have the second easement, so we now have it in the packet for approval. This resolution also ratifies Dave's signature back to December 16th when we received that easement
And this is an easement from Amazon, correct?
from Amazon,
Okay,
yes.
That's what I've never been on to check, yeah, okay. All right, any questions from council at this time? Okay, looking for motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion, we approve new business item 9.7, resolution number 20-2026.
Thank you, sir, for your motion. We get a second to the motion, please.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Mr. McLean. We get a roll call.
Counselor Duffloff,
Aye.
Counselor Katie McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor Smith,
Aye.
Counselor Dennis McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor McLean.
Aye.
Moving on to motion carries. Moving on to action item, 9.8, resolution 2026.
So this is similar to your last one, but for PDX 194, on Powerline Road. We have already entered into agreements for sanitary sewer services and potable and raw water services, and these easements, allow us the ability to provide those services.
Any questions from council currently?
No.
With no questions, we're looking for a motion. Mr. Smith?
I move that we approve action item 9.8, resolution number 21-2026.
Thank you, motion. Can we get a second to motion, please?
I'll second that.
Looking for a roll call.
Counselor Duffloff,
Aye.
Counselor Katie McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor Smith,
Aye.
Counselor Dennis McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor McLean.
Aye.
The ayes have it, motion carries. Moving on to 9.9, resolution 2026.
So Mr. Mayor, 9.9 and 9.10, if it's okay if I summarize them together and then you guys can vote separately because they do go together. So the city is currently working on improvements to our wastewater treatment plant. We have design funding included in our current budget, and we have already secured a loan through DEQ for the construction of those. Through the design process, our engineers have identified a couple of equipment pieces that have pretty long lead times. And so we got approval from DEQ to go ahead and put those items out to bid early, go ahead and get those ordered. And so 9.9 is for dewatering equipment procurement. That came in at $583,750, which was under the engineer's estimate. And then the next one was for the ultraviolet disinfection equipment, and that one came in at $479,695, which was also below the engineer's estimate. So staff is recommending approval of both of those resolutions to award those contracts.
Okay, at this time, is there any further questions from council? Okay, no questions from council. We're looking for a motion for 9.9.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we approve resolution number 22-2026.
Thank you very much for motion. Can we get a second motion, please?
I'll second it.
Thank you very much for first and seconding. Looking for a roll call.
Counselor Duffloff,
Aye.
Counselor Katie McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor Smith,
Aye.
Counselor Dennis McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor McLean.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Motion carries on 9.9. Moving on now to 9.10. With the discussion already occurring, we're looking for a motion as it currently stands.
I move that we approve resolution 23-26.
Thank you very much. Looking for a second.
I would, second that one.
Thank you very much. Looking for a roll call this time.
Counselor Duffloff,
Aye.
Counselor Katie McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor Smith,
Aye.
Counselor Dennis McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor McLean.
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving on now to 9.11. Resolution 2426.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. We wanted to bring this resolution forward to award Artistic Blinds LLC a contract in the amount of $4,726. This is for the Umatilla Business Center going in next door, the window coverings and blinds for the building. So this was definitely it was a foreseen expense, but separate from our main construction contract. And this budgeted as well. So.
And it wasn't subcontracted out.
No, it was one of the owner furnished items, and typically we wouldn't necessarily have to bring an item of this low financial volume to council for approval, but because it's part of a bigger overall project, procurement law requires that we can't break a project apart into smaller components, and so that's why we went through the RFP process.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Any further questions from council? Thanks. Any further questions from council's circumstances? Okay, with no further questions, we're looking for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I would make a motion to approve, resolution number 24-2026.
Thank you very much, motion. Can we get a second motion, please?
I'll second it.
Thank you. It's been first and seconded. Looking for a roll call this time.
Counselor Duffloff,
Aye.
Counselor Katie McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor Smith,
Aye.
Counselor Dennis McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor McLean.
Aye.
You guys have it. Moving on now to our second public comment period this evening.
Nothing.
Thank you, Chief. Moving on now to our discussion items for this evening, we have 11.1 process for appointments to boards, commissions, and committees. Discussion only.
No discussion only, just added the item here and you kind of heard some of it again through public comment tonight, just. There's been a lot of discussion from the dais about our process of appointments, particularly to the planning commission. And, so we wanted to make sure that we gave ourselves, sufficient time and opportunity to have that discussion to see if we wanted to make any updates to that process.
Well, I don't. You don't want, I don't know, we don't really have a process in place. I think that's kind of what we're getting at.
Yeah.
If we want to have true transparency, and we 100%, then we need to have a process in place. And it's not just about the interview process. If we're going to have, we need to have a little bit more background on these people, especially when it comes to planning commission. That's such a paramount figure. I mean, it's a little different on some other committees and stuff, but I think planning commission, because of their authority that's granted to them, I think it's truly, and Bruce can probably speak to this more than I can, but that's a huge lift for that position.
Yeah,
Councilors and Mayor, I'm gonna remind you guys to really speak into your microphones during this discussion item, please. Thank you.
Speak on that. Mr. McLean, go ahead.
This is such a change from the historic process that there are going to be some bumps and bumps along the way, but it's been pointed out multiple times tonight where the town's not small anymore. There are people applying for jobs that we're not familiar with. I think a process is, I think a process is the absolutely proper thing to do here. It's not in words anywhere, but in my mind, this thing comes down to put together something along the lines of, U.S. cabinet positions. It's like the Senate vote, confirms people, but it's an advising thing. We have rules and guidelines. It is the mayor's job to nominate somebody. Sure. But we absolutely have the responsibility of being part of the process and being knowledgeable about the candidates. I think it's completely appropriate. I've stated before, I think it would be more collegial and much more, group oriented if we put together a process with an interview panel, understanding that it's the mayor's job to nominate somebody.
Yep.
Very well said.
Mr. Smith.
I wonder if we want to do this for all committees or just planning commission and open councils. Because otherwise it's still get to be very burdensome.
Well, the biggest, it's funny you bring that up, is those are the two positions that have the most authority. So the weight of the law basically is on those two in and of itself. Budget committee is the budget committee. I mean, you're guiding through when there's other stuff, I get that. But it's really important to have everything in place with the planning commission.
This might be a question for Dave or Joanne, I'm not sure. And on to what you're mentioning, I agree those are two of the most important. But as mayor, I don't appoint council members.
No.
You guys vote,
Yeah.
and then you select a council member. Yeah. The planning commission, I appoint. That's correct? Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
I think that's the important clarification, I think, of what you're saying, Lyle, is if you want to do this for every single commission, or do you want to do it for just, for council members, we do it for council members. We do have an interview process. And for planning commission, we have not done an interview process. Some occasions we have, some occasions we haven't. It kind of depends on, correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, I can't recall historically, but I don't think did Mary do an interview process for any of hers.
No, the best of my knowledge, Mayor Dietrich didn't do interviews. During Mayor Duffloff's time, I don't think we did interviews, but we have done them in the past during Mayor Hash's term. They did interviews then, and they also did it. I saw one interview during Trott's time, Mayor Trott, and so I haven't seen any other record when I looked at that. So it's been a while since we've had interviews as part of the planning commission process.
And so my question is Do we want to do it on a case-by-case basis? Do we want to do interviews every single time there's a commission thing? Do we want to tie the hands of the mayor potentially in perpetuity? Do we want to, how do we want to handle this? Because I'm all for transparency. I have no problem with discussing how I come to my conclusions. And that's not the concern here, but my concern is that if we do this, and same as what you were saying, Bruce, is that the president appoints a cabinet committee, the Senate says, no, thank you, or sounds good, he's on board, or she's on board, and then the president either appoints someone else and we go back to the drawing board and the Senate goes through the approval process and does the interview or not interview and continues on. My concern is.
So the other part of that, excuse me, but the Senate also has the ability to ask questions to this, so they have a hearings in front of you. I mean, that's kind of, I think, what we're getting at is in the future, you know, is that something that we want as a council to embark on something like that? Because you're right, it's gonna be tedious, and I get that.
But do you, in your opinion, do you want to do it for every commission seat, or do you want to do it for just planning?
They're just planning commission.
Just planning commission. Yeah.
And again, it's because of the weight of the authority.
Yeah.
It's that quasi jurisdictional, having the authority that they do, it really puts them into a different category, in my opinion, just like appointing the council member, then when we have a vacant spot.
Right.
That's my only thinking about that.
Mr. Proctor, you gave it a look.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we talked briefly, in the past about maybe the application itself, we should start there, and maybe that needs to be updated and get some information there, background questions, other things that we feel is pertinent. What I tried to emphasize in the memo is that recognizing how the charter and the code is set up, the way this works is for the mayor to get as much information as he feels as he needs to make that appointment. And so now you certainly have your ability to ask questions and interviews. That's certainly clear as well. But in the end, it's really to assist you in your process on how you go about finding someone to appoint. And staff is an available resource to help you with whatever you need during that process. And so we're happy to do that. But I think what we're trying to see here is council saying, well, I want to hear about this, this, and this. And this is why we're trying to have this discussion so that we can help you, so you can help them, so we can all help each other.
So my question was, when I walked away from our conversation we had, is my concern is that in the past, one of the things that Councilmember Flock and Councilmember Smith and others on this board have asked me is to make sure that I'm not giving staff directives. So in this situation, I can't give you a directive of saying, I would like a better background on these individuals. I can't give you a staff directive of, Zach, I would like you to do a deeper dive into this individual person, kind of learn more information about that. I can't give directives to Zach. So I agree with what you're saying. I want all the information in the world. We joked about, we want to do a kind of resume and a cover letter, you know?
Sure.
But I can't give that as a directive.
I mean, maybe that's a better question for Joanna. I mean, my understanding, Mayor, I mean, the appointment to any ordinance related board or commission is entirely in your purview, and I wouldn't necessarily, you can, maybe that's direction, I'm not sure. But if you're talking with me and says, this is what I need in order to do that, staff, it's certainly in my purview and certainly in staff's purview to get our elected body what they need in order to do their job. And so I think it's appropriate for you to say, Dave, can you update, fill in the blank, whatever you need for this process so that you can be successful. Staff is happy to help with that.
Yeah, I think, I agree with that. I just want to make sure.
And we can sorry to interrupt, we always cross our T's and dot our I's. Council, if it's to remove all doubt, you can go ahead and give the directive too, but I don't think it's necessary.
But I think it comes back to, let's start with the application first. So let's give you some information, which will also be available to us, that we can also make an educated guess as well.
Yep. And I'm all for that. My concern though is what if it takes more than 50 minutes of staff time?
Well, the 15-minute rule is for the attorney only, not for staff. Joanna, did you have anything else maybe you wanted to add or clarify on that topic or that question?
Mayor and council, no, I think that you covered it well.
Get up here. All right, go ahead. Let's try again.
Mayor, Mayor and council, this is Joanna Lyons, Antley, city attorney. No, I think, city manager, you covered it very well. I think we're here to assist. So if there is additional information that, we can help provide, I think that's helpful. And, I do recognize the 15-minute rule applies only to me. So, I think that's a little bit, more helpful for you all. But I think in general, we want to be assistants to help you select the best person for the appointment and then ultimately the confirmation.
And I agree with that, and I think that's one of those situations where I am all for gathering way more information on these people and getting this, so they are the best candidate that we can bring forth to the planning commission and the gravity that this situation currently has. It's not a, from my perspective, is in this situation, it's not a lack of transparency. It's not a lack of process, it's a lack of information and going based off of guidelines presented to me.
It's more information.
Presented to me by staff and by council was, I can't direct staff. So the directive from staff and from this council is that I can direct staff to reach out to get more information, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Well, again, I think a lot of it has to come down to the application process too. I think if you had that in front of you, that's gonna alleviate a lot of, let's take care of the cart, you know, and feed the horse, and then we'll be fine.
Yeah, so here's my proposal. Is, Zach, I don't know what your calendar looks like, mine's booked for a couple months, but I can make some space, we'll find some time. We can sit down together with Melissa or Dave or Nancy, whoever would like to join us, and sit down and come up with some criteria, and then bring another discussion item in the future to make it clear to council of here's what we're changing in our process, we're gonna make this more transparent, and moving forward from there. Zach, does that potentially work for you?
Yeah, it definitely works for me, and we can certainly present some ideas and have some information in the meeting.
Okay.
Does that work for
Yeah.
council as well?
But certainly, yeah. Question was for you, Joanne. I'm not sure if you heard the question. Are you, do you have any concern with mayor working directly with staff to update the application process procedure?
No, I do not, but I would like to clarify that ultimately, because I think it is an implementation of the council rules that the council does need to buy off on whatever the procedure is presented. So that would be my only caveat.
And then my follow-up question is, and that I highlighted there in the memo, and that because it has it in your rules, is an interview something you want to see as part, as you guys meet to talk about? Is that something that council is interested in, as mayor meets with staff on that process?
Can we come with the application process first and then make that a further discussion later? If you guys are satisfied with the application process?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is, honestly, is this just brought to light, we need a process.
Yes,
I'll say it. Whatever. I mean, everybody does things differently, so.
I forget who said it. I like whoever said it. We have a process, to be really clear. We have a process. We've just grown, we've become far more sophisticated. It's time to update it. And so this has been a good conversation. I think it's been highly productive and an opportunity for us to look at ways that used to work for us in the past may not work for us moving forward. And so this is a good opportunity to reevaluate.
You think step one would be a more robust process. You know, with the mayor and staff go through figuring that out. Personally speaking, if it included an interview section for the council, I would like that. You know, clearly in interview processes like that, you have to have questions reviewed by legal counsel to make sure you're not asking something incorrect. You know, have that vetted. But it's been my experience over the years that you learn a lot just by sitting down and talking with somebody, even if you have vetted questions.
Yep.
But I think the first step would be a more robust process.
Just a final closing comment for me. Again, on the same before, for 66 years, the process worked pretty good. I think we have a pretty good track record. So I appreciate the frustrations that have come recently, but those are recent and those are more reflective, I think, of growing pains of a rapidly growing community more than anything else. And so I just wanted to thank you very much for this opportunity to have this discussion and to tease it out. Look forward to working with you, Mayor, on this, and I'm positive we're going to have something great come out of it.
Any further questions or discussion on 11?
Nope.
Okay, moving on to 11.2, questions about question about elections qualifications. Dave, this one.
Yeah, so it's an election year. I'm not sure if you been talking to many of your friends, constituents, community members. But in the month of November and then again in December, I had people are interested in the upcoming election and possibly serving as an elected member of the city. And I had two questions that came to me that I could not answer. That's why I wanted to present them to the council here and in just quick summaries. And remember so the charter says that you need to be a resident of the city for a year. It seems pretty straightforward. If you take it as a absolute black and white read, I think that's really easy to distinguish. But the first question came up was somebody who's lived here for a very long time, let's say 2 decades, just for the sake of conversation, lived here for 20 years, and they've lived in the same house. They're in the urban growth boundary. They're immediately adjacent to the city, and they want to annex into the city. And for the sake of conversation, let's say they do that and they're successful. They annex in July, prior to when the paperwork's due to file for election in August. Would that person be qualified or not? They've lived in that house, in that place for 20 years, but the house itself has not been in the city for a year. I don't know the answer to that question. The second question that came across was, are there any sort of exemptions for people that are doing Peace Corps, military, or religious services? So this question actually got this question 2 different ways. One is for an individual that has lived here, again, for decades, is serving doing missionary work, will be back this summer, and with the exception of that, is essentially lived here the whole time. They still have their Oregon driver's license. They were an absentee voter, still own their property, still pay taxes here, so on and so forth. The other one that kind of came with that was somebody who was on the military service. One is we have somebody in the community that serves in the Army Reserve. It hasn't happened, but if they were deployed for 12 months or 18 months or something and were to come back for that temporary deployment, if you took a black and white reading of 1 year, you could say they're not eligible, but they served their military service, they kept their house, they registered to vote, they had their ODL, same sort of idea. Would that person be qualified or not? So I didn't know how to answer these questions. And the last thing that the charter says is that the city council is the final judge of who qualifies. And so that's my question.
So Dave, I have a follow-up question for you, or even we get the bigger question. Because usually, when things like come to the agenda, I feel like they usually come as like public comment first. And I feel like this is the first time I've heard this from anyone. So who are these people and they're coming out of the woodwork recently?
Like I said, they're just questions that I had recently. I can talk about one of them. I mean, I can give names if we want to give names.
I'm
but
just curious. I mean, just like,
I had the same question.
okay.
Same thing on both of those items as well. And I don't know, my perspective is if you live here, you live here. It doesn't matter if you're on, especially if you're doing some kind of religious crusade or something of that nature.
Consider military.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Oregon state law is pretty clear too. It doesn't give a time frame how long you have to do it. And I realize our charter does, and I'm not trying to change the charter or anything, but it's kind of more like a definition of what some of these things are, in my opinion. But if a person has lived in that home for 20 whatever years and then gets annexed into the city, well, they've lived that same place. That hasn't changed. So, I mean.
I think for me, those are 2 separate issues. So I think
there's 3 issues too, yeah.
I think the military, religious things, I think those are exemptions that would be acceptable. My concern is annexing in mid-year would be, have they been a tax-paying member of our community for those 20 years? The answer would be no.
But it doesn't say anything about tax payment.
I'm saying
their health has changed. They've lived here, right?
But have they been a part of the city? They haven't been.
And then that's the gray, right?
And
That's the gray
so
right
if
there.
you're annexed in after 20 years,
Well, my thing is, once you're in the city,
Yeah, when you're in the city.
And that's kind of what I believe that I've read in the Oregon State statute is that if that's your residency and it says you're inside the city, then you're inside the city.
Right.
On city lands alive from the county, yeah, that's the question.
So-
That's no time restriction.
No time.
Right, so for state legislatures and for county commissioners, ORS says that you shall live in the county or the state for the full year. There's not really a way to annex a piece of property in Washington and Oregon, for example. And the county, either you're in a city or you're in a county. Even if you're in the city, you're still in the county. So so there's that rule. For cities, there is no residency requirement. It defers to the local charter, to the local
Correct.
city council. And so our city at the moment, it says it has the 1 year. There are some cities that have 3 months, that have 6 months, and so on. So it's really up to what you have in your charter.
I think if it's annexed, it needs a cooling period of 1.
I agree with that.
I don't.
I don't agree.
I think if you're in the city, you're in the city.
I think so too.
I feel like they still put into our community. I mean, if you're living on those border lines, then they've still probably been benefiting our town in some sense.
I have chief of police that doesn't live in our city. But there's chief of engineers who doesn't live in the city, so they can, yeah, they contribute to the city. So just because they don't live in the city doesn't mean they haven't contributed to the city. And financially, I get what you're saying, but in the same sense, I mean,
The tax is not a
Cherry
requirement.
Street, isn't it Cherry Street that's in the county still, there's parts of it down there? So the guy lives down there.
I mean, so are we, I know exactly what I'm saying. Are we gonna annex? Why not? So, but my concern is, no, I'm not putting on my tinfoil hat here.
Sure.
Is if my tinfoil hat says we're going to annex 13 Cherry Street. And 5 of you are buddies with 5 Cherry Street. You annex in, then he gets elected. And we're still here, I know, I mean, that's not get elected.
My whole point is that there's still a safeguard, and safeguard is being elected. So you could work, that's what I'm basically, you can run, but it doesn't mean that you're gonna get this position.
Joanna Platt has her hand raised. Joanna, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I just wanted to add, first of all, I agree wholeheartedly with the city manager that the charter is like the city's constitution. And you all get to interpret it how you want to interpret it. So let me just lay that out there. And that, again, for state legislatures and for counties, there is specific rules that are in state law for those elected officials. But I will add, on the issue on the annexation, one thing to consider is that we want to encourage people to annex, right? We want them to come into city limits because, quite frankly, we would appreciate their property tax payments. Because we want to encourage annexation. We don't want to be a city that folks don't want to join. So just one thought as a public policy thought out there that might weigh into your decision.
Mr. McLean, go ahead.
While council was on, I was just gonna ask a quick follow-up. Do you have any guidance on the, I mean, if your domicile isn't, I've been thinking about the, the religious, out of town or military out of town. Do you have any, guidance from a legal point of view on those issues?
I think specifically for the, I believe it's the military that you vote absentee. They're an elector. They continue to be an elector even though they're not at their domicile. And so I think that one is, in my mind, fairly justifiable to include that person as qualified for the position. And I certainly, that's what I hear from all of you. You're definitely agreeable to that. It becomes a little bit trickier when you start talking about if you have a driver's license that's at a different address and things like that. But I certainly don't hear that in these scenarios and hypotheticals that have been presented.
Yeah, I agree with that, because especially like if, oh heck, I just lost it. Oh, people that snowbird and stuff like that, you don't really change anything, you just throw sounds in there, so.
I'm pretty sure
You're
that,
still a resident of Umatilla.
yeah. I'm pretty sure that ORS does say something along the lines of, if they have the, I can't remember verbatim, but it's something about with the intent to return to your domicile.
Yeah.
And so I would think that that's a very reasonable assessment we follow, something along that line.
Okay. So. Dave, does that give you some guidelines of what we're looking for?
Clear as mud.
It does, but I'll want something a little more formal, and that's why today we did it more as a discussion item. So, Nancy's our elections official, and as you can see, kind of the end of the memo there is at the end, it's going to be her administrative call when people submit their applications to be to run for city office. And so she has her process to review those to make sure they're qualifying. And so we'll, my preference would, you have a couple different options. You can either just do a straight motion of some sort to say this is what's allowed. You could do a resolution, or you can codify it by ordinance if you'd like, as well, on what that would be. And if it were a resolution, for example, we could put in some of the recitals that we've talked about here today, and you would have a resolution that would say, therefore, these exemptions, or this is the interpretation of what 1 year means, and we'll work with Joanna on coming up with the language of what that would ultimately look like when it's said and done. What's nice about a resolution is it can always be repealed. So there'll be another election, and then that sitting council, for whatever reason, they interpret it a little bit different. They can come back with the new resolution number and repeal the old one and put a new one in its place for that definition. You could do similarly with an ordinance as well. It's a little bit more of a process, but you can do it kind of the same way. The other way would be as well, and you'll hear about this more at your council retreat here next month, but it's probably about time that we take a look at a charter amendment. It's been a very long time since we've done that here in the city of Umatilla, and we'll probably want to, my suggestion, you'll hear me in that meeting next month, will be that we sort of lay the preliminary work for that, but that's probably work for the next council in January of next year. But that means we can lay that work and that line for having that sort of ready to go as soon as we swear people in a year from now, unless you want to move that more quickly. A charter amendment process is lengthy. The likelihood of it being completed prior to mid-August, when people would file, is basically zero. I mean, we'd have to get it. I don't know where we're at in January, but we'd have to get it on the May ballot, and the timeline for that is just not possible. So it would be November or May of the following year, the earliest we could move that forward.
Dave, what's the rule for passing a charter amendment and all? Is it, you have to get 80%? What's the guideline for that again?
So charter amendments require a double majority vote. So which just means that at least you need to get voter turnout of 50%, and then at least 50% plus one need to vote yes in favor of that. So there's been, and I apologize, there's been a lot of talk at the legislative level. That may have changed in recent time. I'll need to double check with Joanna, but that was definitely where for charter amendments through 2020. But when COVID hit and other kinds of things hit, there were some legislative processes there. So I need to look that up and get that a little bit more, but that's my understanding today.
That double majority, that's gonna be.
We haven't had a 50% voter turnout in a very long time in the city of Umatilla, which is why the last time it was updated was
2001.
yeah, it's been a very long time.
And it was a 10-year process to get it done in 2009.
It was, I think it was 2006.
Yeah.
I actually have it right here.
Number 7, 2006.
I was 10. So okay. Any further questions on 11.2? Anybody else want to go to the order?
No, if you could give me, so I'd like to start working with the attorney, and I'll bring back for you, I guess, a draft resolution. You could take a look at that next time. Okay.
We're not, yeah, all we're doing is just defining just what some of that is in, you know, what it means, that year thing and stuff, right? And some of that, that's all we're doing, not change any.
No.
Okay, I just want to be
we're
clear.
not. No, we can't do anything as far as changing. the
Right,
color.
that's why I just want to be clear though, so we're,
No,
okay.
we're just defining what
What the
our
qualifiers
expectations
are, like it says that we're qualified, you know, because we're allowed to decide what the qualifiers are.
Yeah, charter says that the city council is the final judge of determining who's qualified.
Okay, so you'll come back with something on this?
So I guess one more question is, could we do it by case basis? Is there anything saying that like, all right, you know, I know we should have a rule, but is there a rule against not having this to case basis?
So there's not, so
Which is
if,
okay.
if I could tease that out a little bit, so the short answer is no, but a longer answer is it depends. So you certainly have to have rules that apply to one applies to all, correct? So I think everybody understands that. But it may be something to where you don't touch anything, leave it as is. We get this sort of question that comes in, Nancy runs her administrative process, and then we bring that specific application to the council and say, is this person qualified? You get to be the final judge of determining if they're qualified, and you could look at their individual specific circumstance and do that. One of the things that's tough about that, using the annexation answer again, is annexation takes 100 days if you're quick. It usually takes a little longer than that, between 120 and 150 days. And so if there was a person today that perhaps wanted to do that and file in August when filings are due, they would want to know, you know, today or by the end of February or something, if that was a road they wanted to go down, if they wanted to become qualified, versus having to wait until we can get those in to the elections office and get the applications, you know, started in July, and then bring them to the council in August, and then you may not actually, and then there's no guarantee with an annexation, by the way, too. Planning Commission could vote it down for whatever reason. Staff's recommendation could be, no, they don't qualify for reasons A, B, and C. And so there's quite a bit of a process associated with that specific example.
Sorry, derail the conversation. All right, any further discussion on that? We have a message. No further discussion, we're gonna move on to mayor's message. I want to say happy holidays, everyone. I hope they had a really good new year so far, and we're off to a good start so far in the city, and looking forward to working with everyone. I want to give a shout out to the Parks and Rec for giving these great letters. They're awesome. They're super cool. Thank you. And also want to give a shout out to my sister and brother-in-law for buying a house on Rio Sendo. So I'm very proud of them and very excited to get a couple more citizens to the city, and kind of weird to bring them back. I'm not sure if we convinced them of that. All right, that's all I have for this evening. Mr. Default.
Actually, looks great. Great job, you guys. It's wonderful to see it in that position right there. I really like it right there for some reason. Just because I can drive by and see everybody having fun. So it's nice. It'd be nice if we had some snow. That'd be even better.
Hey, watch it.
Not on the road. Not on the road.
No,
Just
all right, we're okay.
just on the side of the
All
road.
right. Selective snow, I like it.
Selective snow. So South Hill, the project's coming along really good, thank God, with the sidewalks coming in and stuff, and that's looking really, really good. I'm glad we're moving forward with that. The city's doing a good job with the golf course, and went out and played 9 yesterday. It's nice to see that we're moving forward with some stuff and implementing things. It's looking really good. I appreciate that, and I do ask a question, when are we gonna get food in there? Because I didn't see a hot dog stand or anything in there.
We're working on it.
Okay.
We already have, sorry.
I know it's only been 3 years. It's okay. Just 3 years to get a simple hot dog.
I don't think you want those hot dogs.
Inspected by the county health department, towards the end of November. But he advised us to wait to renew the license since it starts at the beginning of every calendar year, so it's in the process. You will have hot dogs. And nachos.
Yeah, I love it. Nachos and hot dogs, that's all I need. My life's simple. Thank you, I appreciate, and I do appreciate the work, and the new super is doing a great job.
Thank you.
And David's doing a great job there. We've had some good hires, so it's good. It's really nice to see. Southfield, I want to thank the people for coming up and voicing your concerns with public. I do appreciate it. I know that some homes, I get a bad rap that it falls on deaf ears. It doesn't. I hear it. Just because I have a different opinion doesn't mean that I don't hear it. It just means that I don't see it that same way, and that's fine. That's what this wonderful country is built on, is everybody's points of views are different, and that's okay. I do agree. We do need to have some kind of a mechanism to where people can feel that their voices are being heard. You're exactly right. And we've even talked about that more and more, how to have a follow-up and what does that look like and how does that, we talked about that multiple times. You know, what does that look like after public comment and how do we get the information back to these individuals? And sometimes it leaves our purview. I'll be honest with you, sometimes it just falls off the plate. And I apologize for that. We should be more diligent with that. Chamber, Josiah, thank you. You're doing great. You know, we've come a long ways in the last 2 years. It's amazing. We're doing really well. I like to see that. That's all I really have. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. I appreciate it. I love to have the interaction with people. That's wonderful. Thank you, Mr. McLaughlin. Mr. McLaughlin.
Yeah, I have a few thank yous. I just want to, Scott, I want to say thank you for getting that, now no outlet sign up on Washington. Has been a huge help already. They've seen less traffic coming down their street and actually being able to, they'll see them go around the correct way. So that's been a huge thing. So thank you for that. And amazing, that website was absolutely amazing. You guys have done an absolute awesome job of that. I mean, it looks so much better. The big icons, things are right there, so much easier to see. We appreciate all the hard work gone into that. And then I want to say thank you for helping with, even though they didn't get that in properly, helping them go through that instead of just turning a cheek to it. They're in the community. We want them to feel like they're in the community, and I appreciate you guys taking their hands and helping them, okay, when you come back, instead of just turning them down, going through it and helping them with the process. I mean, we appreciate that a lot because we want to take care of the community, you know, so we appreciate that. And then, I saw the evenings here. Well, thank you for being here today and being I love it whenever I see the young kids out here and just being part of the community. You are part of the community. You're a huge part of it. And I appreciate when you guys show up, and even though, you know, it looks like you might be falling asleep, you are here. You are here. I feel you. I need a nap tonight. I always said earlier, I was like, I wonder if David let me out tonight. Just thought, I can't come. I need a nap. But I'm here. I'm here. So we appreciate you coming. So, and then one last thing, Joanna, is that a signed Jordan jersey behind you?
It is Caitlin Clark.
Oh, okay. I saw the first, I couldn't see what the other number was there. And I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, thank you everybody for
great,
being
too.
here. We appreciate you guys. So have a good night.
Mr. Smith.
I appreciate what the staff has done. They're amazing. You guys get a lot accomplished with not that many members, and I appreciate that. Oh, it's down for about 30 seconds. That's all I got. Yeah, the other thing is I am organizing a group to get together once a month to pray for the city of Umatilla. It's an all faith thing. Everyone is welcome. The first meeting is going to be a week from tonight at the bridge at 4:30. Everybody's welcome. Love to see people out. We just need to make sure our city is on the path God wants it.
Amen.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. McMillan.
All right, thanks everybody for showing up, and thanks to staff. The website does look really good, by the way, like quotes up there, it looks really good, by the way. But also thank you, Esmeralda. I have never gotten a New Year's card in my life, and I got one today, so thank you. But I'm just gonna keep it short and sweet. I thank everyone for showing up, and I hope you have a great start to your new year, and may it be the best year you've ever had yet, and may it be the best year for you Umatilla ever. So, hopefully, it will be.
Mr. McLean.
Well, it's been a year. Thank you for an unbelievable load of paper to start the new year. I like it, yeah, I know that, it's just things to come. No, I mean, city staff does an amazing job between, you know, community reports, outreach summaries, our packets. I guess in 1 year, one thing I would like to, have everybody understand is, we thank everybody for showing up. We do listen to what everybody says. I continue to be, nearly overwhelmed by what this job is and what this job entails and how much information comes into it. I'm in awe of my, fellow council members and what they've, shown they can, make it through all the time. They continue to motivate me to be a better council member. Beyond that, I think that probably ties it up for me.
Thank you. At this time, the council is looking to meet in executive session. Can we get a motion going into executive session?
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion, we leave our regular session and enter into executive session.
Thank you, that motion. May a second motion, please.
I'll second that.
We get a roll call.
Counselor Duffloff,
Aye.
Counselor Katie McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor Smith,
Aye.
Counselor Dennis McMillan,
Aye.
Counselor McLean.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Motion carries. City will now meet in executive session pursuant to RS 1926602E. So we authorize the executive session to consider a real property transaction. Representatives of the news media, the city manager, and the city attorney, the department directors shall be permitted to attend executive session. All other members of the audience are asked to leave the room. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on or otherwise disclose any of the deliberations or anything set out as subjects during the executive session, except to state the general topic of the session as previously announced.